been calling
Here we go. Black
debutantes.
women are the most unprotected. Let's protect the black women.
When you got Set It Off playing in the background and you have young women and they say you want to talk, you want to run your mouth, you want some gangsters in your motherfucking house, we'll set this
We'll set this bitch off. On the top street, you wanna run your mouth, you want some gangsters in your motherfucking house. We'll set this bitch off.
We'll set this off. And then that's what Mase is saying, for you not to say, I don't understand how people are looking at me like this.
Listen here, black women, make sure you carry yourself like queens so they can continue to treat you like queens.
Welcome to the Dark Times channel. And before I get started, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button for me. And if you're not new to the channel and you enjoy the content so far on this channel, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that sub button for me as well. Now, anybody that knows a thing or two about LSU knows that LSU and Lil Boosie goes hand in hand, especially when we're talking about that song, Set It Off. And this is a clip right here of the men's football team. And this is how they get down. This is how they get hyped before the game, listening to Set It Off. And you can look at even members from the other team, they can't help but get loose with it. It's just one of those songs, especially if you're in the South. That's one of those songs that kind of gets everybody hype, and everybody's got a hype song. But with that being said, no two things in the universe are equal. And there's always a double standard in everything. And Mase on the It Is What It Is show with Maurice Clarett, he's going to touch on it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip of the video, and then of course I'll come back and chime in.
Black women, make sure you carry yourself like queens so they can continue to treat you like queens. Is that fair?
That is very fair. And to add, so like obviously a lot of people on here watch me, follow me on social media.
You can't.
People like how I present myself, right? But I don't think that they're doing anything to present themselves in the wrong, like they're not doing anything that's crazy out of pocket. Social media, our lives are, looked at in a microscope nowadays. Like, I mean, even before, I don't think everything was as, public as it is now, obviously. But I don't think that they're doing anything to be getting any of this.
So Stack, let me add on to that, right? I can agree with you when you say I don't think they're doing anything purposely, right? And sometimes culturally, how we act in our neighborhoods or how we grow up. And I know Flange comes out of New Orleans or Baton Rouge. I don't know which part of New Orleans that she comes from. Angel comes from Virginia, DC, Baltimore area, somewhere over in there, right? And there's things that we do when we working out, when we playing games, when we compete, and that works for those environments. But it goes back, same thing I was talking about the kid from Duke, right? Those behaviors exist like personally amongst yourselves when you're working out and doing your thing. But these institutions are controlled by donors, by sponsorships, by dollars. The people who fill these stands are old white families, people who have graduated, and people who continue to come to these institutions and these games to support these teams. So when they sit down, their expectation is to see a certain thing. And so when, this is no offense, I listen to Lil Boosie music. When you got Set It Off playing in the background and you have young women and they say you want to talk shit, you want to run your mouth, you want some gangsters in your motherfucking house, we'll set this bitch off. And then that's what Mase is saying, for you not to say, I don't understand how people are looking at me like this.
And so like I said previously, I don't condone what that writer said about the women's LSU team, comparing them and calling them dirty debutantes. But at the same time, as men and women, we can't necessarily put ourselves in situations to even invoke somebody to think they could get away with saying something like that. And we live in a generation now, especially in this era now, where it pays to put yourself, especially if you're a woman, to put yourself on social media, TikTok, or any number of one of these platforms, to put yourself out there and dance and behave degenerately. And y'all know what I'm talking about. In a manner in which your father probably wouldn't approve. You're getting paid to do that. But then at the same time, people from other cultures are seeing you. But what they see becomes reality. That's why on this particular channel, I always talk about image. And I had somebody in my comments the other day, they asked me why I was so obsessed with image. This is why. Image is reality. The image that you put out there and the image that you allow other people and other groups of people to put out there becomes reality. The image that they show every night on the 9 o'clock news, that's the reality. It could be a small minority of people behaving degenerately, doing the crime, but it doesn't matter. When they see a black face, that's the reality of who you are for some people. And these are things that we used to know. These are things that the community used to understand. But once social media came on and once it became profitable to be degenerate on camera, that was a wrap.
I think also, man, and I know you got to wrap it up in a second, Stat, but we need to get out the mindset that maturing, becoming professional, having class is a white thing. That is an evolving thing. And, you know, it's like, we think like that all black people ain't supposed to be niggas.
And I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there because this is something that I've heard people say before, but I've never heard this firsthand. And I'm somebody that grew up middle class and somebody that grew up reading a book or two and somebody that knew how to enunciate and somebody that knew how to expand my vocabulary and wasn't afraid to show it. And I had all groups of friends, all walks of life, played sports all throughout school. And so I say all that to say this. I was cool with everybody. When I mean everybody, I mean everybody. And I never once had a person say that I sounded white or that I was trying to be white or anything like that. Never heard it. I'm not saying it's not true, but a lot of times when people say stuff like this, I think it's in their own heads. I don't think people actually tell them that. I just think that that's their own level of thinking and their own level of understanding. And so I think they're telling on themselves more than telling on anybody else. Nobody actually thinks you're acting white when you enunciate and when you use a bigger vocabulary. Nobody actually thinks that. Nobody ever said Martin Luther King was trying to be white. Nobody ever said Minister Louis Farrakhan was trying to sound white. And like I said, it doesn't get much more articulate than that. When they say you're acting white, or if people were to say you're acting white, it's usually not how you're saying something, but it's usually what you're saying. Now, if you start sounding like a Jesse Lee Peterson or a Candace Owens or somebody like that, now that's a different story. Now people would definitely call you out for that.
You know what I'm saying? We're not supposed to function and, you know, function at the lowest level of humanity, socially, verbally, or, you know, just interpersonal skills. It's not. But we got this thing that since we can't hold on to, like, and that's not even black culture. Like, nigga ghetto culture is not black culture.
And so bingo, he hit the nail right on the head with that one. What we're seeing in all these different rap videos, all these different music videos, all these different social media networks and outlets, this isn't black culture, never has been. And that's what they keep pushing and that's what they keep promoting. And so what's happening is the many are being judged by the few.
When I said black culture promotes degeneracy, that's something that everybody knows. It's all just drugs, murder. And we all know that. When they talk about we need to protect black culture, this is the number one. This is how you prove that black culture in America promotes degeneracy.
And we're the only group of people that happens to. That's how powerful image is. Like I said, image is everything. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. That's why this whole Diddy situation, a lot of people are up in arms and a lot of people are asking for Diddy to be arrested and celebrating and cheering that Diddy's being arrested. I could give a damn. I don't care about R. Kelly. I don't care about Diddy. I don't care about Cosby. I don't care about none of it. And if you're listening to this, you might say, oh, that's cruel. What about the victims? What about the alleged victims? Sometimes you have to charge things to the game. And that's the game of Hollywood or Hollyweird. Because you have individuals that choose to be around certain celebrities. They choose to put themselves among the wolves. Things are going to happen. And you have certain parents that choose to bring their loved ones around the wolves. Certain things are going to happen. Now, I'm not saying individuals shouldn't be punished for any particular wrongdoings. God forbid, everybody needs to be dealt with. But if you're going to punish one particular group of people, you got to punish them all. And so that's where I stand when it comes to that. And I'll just say this. Elvis Presley, a known weirdo, having 14-year-old girls up in Graceland. They just made a movie about him, honoring him. He's got a shrine wall to wall in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They just did a documentary on Nickelodeon talking about all the freak stuff and weirdo stuff that went on within Nickelodeon. Nobody's going to jail. Everybody's talking about P. Diddy. I could go on and on and on. And it's not that people within their own community don't care. It's just they understand the power of image. And there's no way that they're going to be the face of degeneracy. They're going to reserve that for you. And celebrities are the representatives or the representation of us all. Whether it be right or whether it be wrong, that's the reality. And so I think that's going to be a wrap on this particular video. Definitely go ahead and let me know how y'all feel about this one. And as usual, peace and chaos.